Well done! You've successfully completed your learning on error handling, functional programming, and testing. While this information is still fresh in your memory, let's summarize the key takeaways to help embed your newly found knowledge. The first lesson covered error handling. Here, you were introduced to the concept of throwable functions, a type of function that can throw an error. You learned that you can declare a throwable function by using the keyword throws right after the function definition, and the keyword throw to throw an error. You also learned how to write your own custom errors by making a custom type, like enumeration, conform to an error protocol. You also became familiar with the do-catch concepts for catching and handling thrown errors. You now know that any code that can throw an error in Swift has to be put inside a do block, as well as a try expression that has to be put before any throwable function call. You then found that the do block is followed by one or more catch blocks, which lists error types. You then moved on to the next lesson, in which you were familiarized with the concepts of recursion and functional programming. You learned that a recursive function is a function that calls itself in its implementation, and you discovered that this functionality can be useful when other loops don't get the job done. You were introduced to the 4 types of recursion, namely tail, head, multiple, and single recursion. You then came to know about functional programming, which is being able to pass functions to another function as arguments, as well as return them and set them as variables. You learned that a higher order function can either take a function as an argument or return a function as a result. You then found out how to implement higher order functions and why they are useful. For the final lesson, you became more familiar with software testing best practices. First, you found out why testing matters and what software testing is. You came to understand that software testing is a process of evaluating and verifying that a product or application does what it's supposed to do, and found out why testing should be incorporated into daily development. You then became aware of different roles within the team that performs testing. Next, you explored 4 categories of testing. Unit testing checks individual software components. UI testing verifies that the application's user interface behaves as expected. Compatibility testing checks how application performs across various situations. And regression testing verifies that new code does not break features. Finally, you gained some knowledge on how to implement unit testing in Swift, including adding test cases, writing tests with the XCTest framework, and verifying the test result. You now know how to use functions in Swift in different ways, how to handle errors that functions might throw, as well as how to test your code in Swift. You have explored many examples that should enable you to adopt the concepts mentioned in your own software, making your code more reusable and organized. You've made great progress on your journey to becoming an iOS developer.